Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Groar from the Under the Mountain community, and this is our very first video. We are planning a full tour of Moria step by step, and today we are starting with the Western Halls. I am here with Darth, one of our veterans, and he will be showing you around, so I will hand it over to him.
Welcome, everybody, to Under the Mountain and Darth Duck's community server. It started as a typo and became a fun joke. Come on in and see things that have changed. This is the famous Oopsy stone of our server. The reason it's called the Oopsy stone is you always die somewhere in the server working on a project and end up at the aftermath. So this was set up by one of our builders just to get him back to his projects faster. The name stuck, and now it's said throughout our Discord community in almost everybody's games because it just became a thing. When I first learned about Return to Moria, I found that my friends and family didn't really want to play the game with me. So I joined the Return to Moria Discord server and would invite people into my game so they could help me with my progress. And then some of those people and I created sandboxes together. And we just really enjoyed each other's company. So we would play together, we would create, we would build. This was over a year ago when I first bought the game, played it by myself, found community, found the Return to Moria Discord, and learned not to put my code up in that open chat because you just get everybody
Yeah,
and you can be abused. So
yeah.
I found people that were like-minded, and we decided that we liked hanging out with each other enough that one of us had a Discord channel and renamed it Under the Mountains so that we, the little group that we were, would always have a safe environment for us to play together where we wouldn't have to worry about trying to find each other through RTM. We would just have a constant group of people available to each other for the game. And it started with four of us and has recently passed 150 now
Hmm.
of people from all over the world.
Should we go to the first hall?
Yes, we have. So here we've arrived at the Westgate. You can see now the doors are open. But part of the community one day talked about what if the gates are breached and we're not able to hold them closed? So one of our members came out to the front gate and built a gatehouse. It's a simple project, and he used the hearth extenders as dummies. He used some armor stands as dummies so that you can get target practice and sword practice. You come inside, and here is the living area where the garrison would enjoy meals and beer. Are you following me?
Yeah, I can follow
Are
you.
we
I
moving?
was just in a free cam.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Edit. Upstairs is the barracks, and you can see a nice setup for a small garrison to protect the front gate. Go up even further, and you enter where the garrison would sleep. Recently, we've talked about how a garrison of 6 might not be big enough, and we are thinking that we will expand this gatehouse to encompass more of this area. The bridge we were just on is so imagined so that dwarves could be up there shooting down crossbows at the orcs who got in. Bows and crossbows.
Makes sense.
Up here was my first ever attempt at a vendor booth of some old dwarf living here in the Westgate, just setting up a little stand of old used tools and armor that he has that people might need when they come inside the mountain from the Westgate as they rejoin the new kingdom of Khazad-dûm. We progress up to the entrance of the city proper. Somebody's bed, some creator. We put road signs in partly because our map is broken, but also it gave everybody a little bit more sense for when they want to look around and see things. The different signs tell you where the different things are. Learning from this road sign, I started making them lower, actually at your height, so when your dwarven heads would go under it, you could read the sign. So down here on this side road is where one of our first members of the community created what she called the vault. And she is one of the founding members of the community. She is a master builder. She does great work. Look at how she got those in there. Each one of them labeled.
Just looks
And
perfect.
it's really a beautiful room. She did a fantastic job. Even has a upstairs area with a big, well, there used to be a big pile. Now it's two small piles of gold. Something else that hasn't happened is the roof being finished.
Oh,
That's okay though. Was really happy when the trees became available in that DLC pack because it really added color and life to the server.
yeah, I agree on that.
It's one of my favorites of the DLCs, to be honest. It gives so much. So this is what we call the Great Warehouse of the Westgate. Inside, first floor is just some basic thing of food and textiles, but then as you work your way up, you get to see that this is the building supplies floor, because a lot of our stuff that comes from expeditions and experiences are needed throughout the server for projects. So there's multiple warehouses throughout the server as well. Today we're only going to experience the Westgate, the first city that you get access to in your story. Here is a floor. These are all the stuff for the new Durin's Folk expansion. All of these chests that you see are stuff made by your smiths and your artisans to trade with the market vendors outside the Westgate. We actually have in this server specifically one dwarf who does most of our trade for us so that it doesn't get really complicated. And that way the rest of the server can focus on creating the needs and doing those style projects. Lastly, on the top floor, we created the Hobbit Leaf Smoke Room. And we created it from watching uh, the very first of the Hobbit movies, and the idea hit us from finding some of the treasures that you find from the fellowship's experience through the mine. That was the first idea because we found the Hobbit leaf pouch, and that gave the idea. Then we watched the movie together and watched Gandalf and Radagast share a bowl and thought I need to create a room to give that example. And this was made possible solely by these troll couches that came from the Orc Hunter DLC. I was so happy for couches, even though I couldn't sit in them when we first got them. All right, let's go back downstairs. We're going to go out a different entrance this time, just to the other side of the bridge. Here you can see that we rebuilt the bridge and brought life with a beautiful water garden space, so that now this was recently done by one of our newest members because he showed it to me in his world, and I said, can you bring this to the server? And he brought it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he did a very good job on that. How many builders are currently working on this server?
I would say there's probably about 20. No, even less at the moment active builders lately, because a lot of our players have just suffered a bit of burnout, so they're taking breaks. But we have about 10 master builders in the community and lots of creatives, though. Probably about 20 just creatives. They come and go because this server has actually been online for a year. You can tell by the 2,821 days in the bottom left corner. This is the Great Hall, what you would remember as Ori's Outpost. It has been rebuilt into the Great Hall of the Westgate City. Yes, the server's been operational since rented through Nitrado and became operational right as dedicated servers became possible. So when I originally rented it, I was thinking I'm going to do this on a monthly basis to see if I can trust my community to not finish this story overnight. And it turned out I was successful, that I had created enough of a rule set that people understood and they agreed to. And the server actually lasted. The story at this moment is in its final stage of the final part of Durin's Folk expansion. But we made it almost over half a year without finishing the story. This is one of the old ruins that was rebuilt by one of our dwarves named Groar. Not Groar, but with a Bhror. And he rebuilt it as a nice saloon.
Even has a nice balcony.
Yes, it has a beautiful balcony. It continues the whole, and then we continue through what is still green space and nice, a small reverent moment for those who need to do a little honoring. We come into the Westgate here, into the city proper, downtown, and you can see that we pretended with the houses. So it's not really a house, but with you adding the door and a little bit of accompaniments around it, it makes it look like those are houses again. This was my fourth project in the server. But because it was too far away from where we were working otherwise, so that's why it got delayed. This is where I kept all my armors that I've ever used in this server, and then a few that I brought in from the sandbox because they're cool. Underneath is my treasure hoard, because every dwarf's gotta have a treasure hoard. All the coins that I have collected since I've been playing this game were gathered here. And then we go upstairs to the living area where you can have a brewski and hanging out with your friend. And have a sing-along.
Actually, one of the best features in the game.
Yes, definitely one of the best, especially when you can actually get all of your NPCs and the 8 dwarves singing together. Because then it's like a whole chorus and choir. My lovely patio that overlooks people passing the highway. Gave myself a nice little barbecue on the patio for grilling things. Recently, we rebuilt this warehouse. It was Groar and I who rebuilt it, actually. It was a rough old relic that really needed some touch-ups. So we put some doors on it. You go up the stair, we built the stairwells and created an office area where the manager would work at, and then up on the top floor is just more storage. But it has made it so that this warehouse is up and running again. If we go this way, underneath what is my condo, there is the way to the mushroom gardens. Because the Westgate also needs ubisum wood for projects, we planted this so that we could continuously come and harvest it and use it for our projects. Now it stands more as a piece of art and a gathering of the cuttings than it is anything else. It is a beautiful piece, though. This was done by one of our founders as well.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, we'll go back to the highways, to the main street. All right, so these road signs were put in place to talk about the ration house that was done by one of our members. They rebuilt this place into a ration house where you can get all the snacks you need so that you can continue on your adventures throughout the server. She's a fantastic. She does art. Her work was really, really good.
Very cozy in here.
And we come along, and this side it shows the Goatmaster's Patio Cafe. One of our members decided to put a patio restaurant here, but it blocked the highway. So I asked if I could just put it up, and they said, "That looks great. Thank you very much." And so now we have Goatmaster's Patio Cafe that overlooks people traveling through the highway deeper into the mountain. We continue on to the very first temple to Dwarf Jesus, Durin, of course. Just a simple, basic temple for the people of Westgate City. This is the Buttered Barrel Inn and Restaurant. This was a cooperative project between three of us. Downstairs is where the restaurant begins. Then you come up through the pantry into the dining room. And they have a nice patio that overlooks looking out into with still some privacy from the trees so that you don't have to have everybody watching you have dinner. Then you come up the stairs to the inn part, to the inn registration, where you book your night. There are multiple rooms, some that go off this floor. And in really well done work, again, by our creator team. And then you go back into the inn, and we go up the stairs. And there are even more rooms. Up here, the top floor room, very nice and cozy, has its own patio. Nice, simple private room. Come farther back, down one layer of stairs, and you get a single person patio room. And lastly, over to the Rohirrim suite, penthouse, where it's a nice place for a comfortable person who's got the money to pay for the high quality night. Very well done. Very well done.
Yeah, it's so detailed.
Yeah, this is one of our best. This is when all of us were really working hard together in creating. Life has pulled a few people away. They've come back and started work again. Here, the Lamplighter Raven's Eye lamp store. We just restored what was already here and added a few other things to make it look like a lamp shop. Turned out really well. There's an apartment for it on the second and third floor, which you access farther into town. Here's another one of the road signs because it shows the different areas. To the Westgate, we are downtown right now, and Durin's Highway is off that way. But being downtown, there's still some businesses to enjoy, like Westgate Looms and Wheels here, where you can come and get your loom and your spinning wheel and if necessary, make some materials. There's even a workstation on the upper floor. And that also gives you access to the apartments up above. So when the dwarves finish their jobs for the day, they can come up to their apartments up above this loom shop or the lamp shop. One is decorated, some dwarf has moved in, the other one unfinished.
At least there's a roof.
Yes, yes. We'll go back down the stairs and we can leave the loom shop and go to where the quarry is. And there's also the new mining supply store, another one of those fake houses, but it looks like it's a house. So it could be, here's the new mining supply store. Built in in this space, so it tucked in. And again, the illusion that there's a store inside there that you don't know about. And then up to the top floor that goes to their apartment that again is an illusion, but it looks swell. And the roof is on there too. You can see it up above. The mining supply business has some money. Of course they do. They're selling mining supplies. And here's the Quartermaster's house. We recently started work in here. It's not completely finished, but these guys didn't have a lot of money. So their shop is pretty simple. Pretty simple. It's a nice little humble suite. Nothing fancy, because this is all they can afford. Private bedrooms for the kids. So the breweries are on the right, and the brewmaster's house is on the left. His house turned out pretty nicely. It's got multiple levels up above that are sparsely decorated so far, some not even used. But he gave himself a nice patio where he can grow a few things.
Nice. Good job.
Some of these projects, a dwarf will take on, and then they leave the game for 6 months or 3 months, and they come back and then they have a new zest for it. Others haven't been back in longer amounts of time. That's okay. They come and go as they please. This is inside the brewery, so this would be the brewmaster's kitchen space where he toasts his barleys and things to make all the different brews. As you come over to the service entrance where they would take kegs and stuff, up here, go up to the second story where they're doing their keg work or working in the big tanks, and up even another story to where you get to have more tanks, a staff resting area, patio overlooking everything, and then recently the addition of the secret brews.
Ooh. Haven't seen that yet.
So the cat on his fiddle played hey diddle diddle, a tune that would wake the dead. He squeaked and he sawed and quickened the tune while the landlord shook the man in the moon.
A good way to use this space, though. And going with the stone motif really blended nicely with everything. This was my very first attempt at a well, and there's water in it. And that's just because I paved over everywhere else that had water. That's the secret. Come to the smithing space where we make our ingots, and then some more of those secret houses. They're not actually houses, but we put a little patio on them so they look like little houses. And then we come to my very first project in the server that I built. And then this is where Groar and I met.
Yeah,
And I brought him upstairs.
that
And
was the beginning.
this was the very beginning. I was working in here still. creating the farms, the Westgate farms. They were built with the idea that they would feed everyone in the server up until other communities were built throughout the server, which took a long time, but it did happen. And now there are multiple farms. But inside the farm is also where we set up one of our NPC colonies, and they farm all of our foods and vegetables for us now. And you can see inside where we make a bunch of rations and food for them. Somebody's put a bed in the kitchen. That's weird. And we have everything growing here so that they are capable. We're going to go back up the stairs. The market gate that we're going to go and look at right now. And then there is the expansion along Durin's highway, because we realized there's not enough housing and businesses in the Westgate. So we created Market Gate, and this is Market Gate. Continue over to the local the brewery that has multiple levels. Have a nice drink. Play some ruckus skull billiards. Go upstairs. Have some private time while having a drink on the second floor with your friends. And then all the way up to the third floor. This project is still fully in motion. It's not completely finished because all the housing needs to be finished inside of it. And that's it. And one of our builders is really good at that, and she hasn't been available for a while, but recently she started coming online again. So we've been working with her to get this set of housing in Market Gate finished, because otherwise that's all we need left of Market Gate. Market Gate was designed on the principle of a strip mall. As you walk around with different stores and businesses, here is Shaper's Beard Lounge, where you come and get your beer braided. You walk up to the local clothing shop, Raven's Eye, get all your clothing needs. There's multiple stories with all of the different outfits. There's even a nice patio for when life brings you clothes shopping and you just want to sit and hang out while they go pick out all the outfits. Next, we come over to the bathhouse. Imagine they fill the big pots and dump them into the big baths for people to enjoy having nice, quiet bath time. Right over here, we also have a simple storage company. Here is the smithing area. And here is the cafe. And here is Phoenix's Armory. Bows and crossbows. And then we go upstairs to pole arms on one side and axes on the other. Yeah, built in the idea that this whole market gate was built on the premise of like a strip mall. There would be all these different shops that you would go shopping in, take your family to get the supplies needed, and then go back to your house. One last thing to show you on this side is South Westgate.
We got orcs!
Hans made it, right?
No, this was old Randir.
Ah.
Hans doesn't have any projects in the Westgate. This is where we first saw a chandelier, though. Old Randir created a chandelier and gave everybody an amazing idea. So bright, so vibrant. It's like somebody's living here, even though nobody is.
Very well made.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Southwest Gate.
Okay. What's left?
The new housing district of Durin's Highway. We're gonna pass through Orin's Stronghold because Orin's project is also unfinished. They would like our assistance to make it seem a little less Minecrafty. So this is another one of those chambers that was mining, and it has become Orin's Stronghold, one of our dwarves who builds and creates. It needs some work done to it, though, to make it a little more, well, it's actually nice. It just needs some fine touches. We're going to pass through it, though, to show the new housing district that's on the other side. We're walking along Durin's Highway right now. So this is how we made an overpass that you can see is above us. We're underneath it right now because this is the housing district, Westgate Housing District. You can see that the highway passes over top, right over top of the whole housing district. There's homes in each of these chambers. And multiple styles of homes created in these chambers so that families of dwarves, singles, couples all have a house available to them when they the mountain is alive again. Multiple areas. It's doubled on the other side. So everything that you see on one side also exists the same on the opposite side. The only thing that is different is that underneath the bridge, there is also 2 apartments, but they only exist on either side of the underbridge. This was all done so that we could make it so the Westgate had housing enough for to be a city, so that the people who live in the city don't have to suffer the constant traffic through their town directly, but get to enjoy living on the highway with access to everything. This is the very last part of Westgate City right here. The Beehive place. This project was fun. See private little townhouses for single dwarves, multiple story, not decorated yet, just built so that they can be finished at a later time. But yes, the top of the stairs community, twinned on both sides, with these lovely rooftop gardens. Because there's all that sunlight coming in from above, it's nice for them to have a nice space to sit here and enjoy all the trees and life. And then you can walk to the other side and see another set of housing using all the little dwarf. These ones have been built but have yet to be decorated. I like the coziness of it, and it looks like something the dwarves would have built into these places to give them housing. And that's the Westgate. That's all of the actual Westgate city that we have built here so far. There is There are actually 4 cities in the server, but this was the very first one to see.
Okay, so thank you, Darth. This is our very first video, and we are excited to share more of Moria with you. If you have enjoyed it, we'd love to make more videos, so just drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned.